Today, veterans reported for San Francisco's training camp, and while a lot has happened, perhaps the biggest news was that Talanoa Hufanga will enter this training camp period on the PUP list. After tearing his ACL last year, the hope was to be ready week 1, but right now, that's in real question. This is especially crucial for San Francisco in a year in which they hope to make another Super Bowl push. And the veteran presence they usually call to solve these issues in the safety position in Tashawn Gibson is out the first 6 games of the season for PED usage. But it honestly doesn't seem San Francisco is too caught off guard by this, as it appears Lynch has had a contingency plan for this potential setback after drafting Malik Mustafa from Wake Forest in the 4th round. Mustafa is already one of San Francisco's fastest safeties, running his 40-yard dash in 4.52 seconds while dealing with a hamstring injury. And he's not only built like Mini Bosa, but he's also the strongest safety in this last draft class, putting it up 22 times on the bench press. And rather than working out with DBs at the college level, he decided to work out with both offensive and defensive linemen to up his strength. But will the 5'10", 210-pound muscled-up safety actually be able to fill in for Hufanga headed into this training camp? We're about to find out. We were first introduced to Malik Mustafa at Weddington High School in North Carolina. As a senior, he registered 66 tackles and 5 interceptions playing the cornerback position. Initially, Mustafa wasn't heavily recruited, but in part thanks to his mother Dee filling out questionnaires regarding her son, eventually he was able to commit to play for Richmond. And after only playing 4 games, his season was cut short due to the COVID epidemic, but he did do enough to garner enough recognition from Notre Dame, Louisville, and Wake Forest after entering the transfer portal. Deciding to stay close to home and go to his dream school, Mustafa committed to play at Wake Forest. Across his time playing for the Demon Deacons, Mustafa played a both free safety, nickelback, and a box safety type role. During his first year, he registered a respectable 37 tackles, 2 for loss, and 2 interceptions. In 2020, Mustafa was able to secure a starting safety job and never looked back, however, totaling 58 tackles this year, 8 for loss, 3.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. As a junior in 2023, he only outdid himself again, leading the team with 80 tackles. He also had 5 tackles for loss and an interception. He was so solid in 2023, he received second team All-ACC honors. I primarily highlight these stats to show how over the course of his career, Malik Mustafa continued to improve, perhaps showing off his greatest skill, coachability. Last year for San Francisco, one rookie that appeared a little bit more mature than the rest was Jair Brown. That in part led to him having no issue taking over from Talanoa Hufanga. This year, that rookie is Malik. Like Brown, Mustafa had to prove himself at the college level at Richmond, and I believe this instills a work ethic that many rookies just don't have coming into the NFL. And perhaps seeing similarities between Brown and Mustafa, John Lynch decided to select Malik Mustafa in the 4th round of this last draft. And while Mustafa has already looked impressive this offseason, I believe the best is yet to come once pads come on. There's a reason why he's as strong as he is. He loves to hit. Last year, he was probably the nation's best tackling safety coming out of college. What really stands out to me is how you rarely see him taking a poor angle on a ball carrier or getting out of position. Malik also does a good job with a peanut punch trying to get the ball out of there. Mustafa also excels at play recognition, which makes him play just a step quicker than most. Once he recognizes a run, for instance, he is able to get downfield in a hurry, and once facing a back in open space, he's rarely juked out, which I think makes him a perfect safety. They're your last line of defense, so you can't just have a guy lunging at people. Mustafa's ability to identify what the offense is trying to do also helps him in his pass coverage. In pass coverage, for instance, Mustafa does an excellent job of closing on a wide receiver once he identifies the route. And once he does hit wide receiver, he does a good job with his timing as to get there as soon as the ball arrives. But like any rookie, Mustafa has his weaknesses he needs to mitigate. First, his aggressive playstyle makes him susceptible to play fakes or double pumps or anything that really gets him to bite. So like Hufanga and Brown, it will be crucial to find a balance between aggression and caution. Furthermore, with San Francisco heading into this training camp, he'll have to prove his ability to cover deep down the field. Ultimately, while Mustafa has to compete with veterans like Odom, I think by the end of the preseason, he'll be able to jump up the depth chart, perhaps all the way to the starter, especially if Hufanga is out longer than expected. This is just one player I'm really interested to see what he can do with this opportunity, and I want to hear your thoughts down below about Talanoa Hufanga being placed on the PUP list to start this training camp. It would also mean a lot if you subscribed and liked, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.